afternoon and welcome to KISS TV's election news update. Coming up in this bulletin, IEBC issues statement and an update on the ongoing tallying process. Raila at 51% at current tally. And finally, EAC election observers give their statement on the election process. For these and more, stay tuned. Good afternoon and welcome again. Provisional results as at noon today show that Azimio la Umoja presidential candidate Raila Odinga has 5,731,356 votes, which is 51.0%, while Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate William Ruto is second with 5,411,588, which is 48.25%. Roots Party presidential candidate George Wajackoyah has 49,313, translating to 0.44 votes, while Agano Party's David Moore was trailing with 24,556 votes, which is 0.23%. The Electoral Commission has assured Kenyans that the results being projected by various media houses are from the IEBC public portal, though the sequencing is from different voting areas. IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati says each media house is accessing the public portal at different times and using its own criteria and sequencing. He, however, says at the end of the tallying, they hope there'll be harmonization.
This is a status update as where we are. The Commission appreciates Kenyans for the patience they continue to exhibit as it collates and tallies the results. In addition, we are also grateful to the media for the reporting of the general election results, which you have been doing diligently. On that aspect, I wish to state that the Commission signed a memorandum of understanding with the Kenya Media Sector Working Group on the 4th of March 2022, and one of the areas of collaboration was to provide comprehensive and objective coverage of the electoral process, including tallying and transmission of results. In the spirit of transparency, the Commission gave media access to polling stations, tallying centers, and the results portal to report the progress of election results in real time. The original intention was that the various media houses will join hands and have a consortium through Kenya Media Sector Working Group to report on the progress of election results in real time from one source. However, the media houses opted to do it independently, which is decisions beyond the Commission's control. And we take note that as a result of that, the tallies across the media houses vary, and we appreciate that this may be so because each media house is accessing the public portal of the result forms at different times, and each is using its own criteria and sequencing, among other factors, including perhaps different amounts of resources deployed. But just want to inform Kenyans that the final announcement and declaration of the presidential result will be done by the National Returning Officer here at Bomas, and what may be happening at the media houses showing various results, we hope at the end of the tallying they'll be harmonized and they'll look similar, because the results are from the same source, the same public portal. So there should be no panic about the differences we are seeing on the media screens, TV screens, because of the approaches the media houses may have taken. The Commission has ensured that there's 100% availability around the clock of the results portal, which we are all accessing to ensure and guarantee transparency. Also wish to state that the results transmission of Form 34A from the polling station is ongoing, as you can see on the screen, We are at 99.84%. Out of the 46,229 polling stations, we have done 46,156, leaving about 73 polling stations having not transmitted yet. We shall give a report on those that may have not transmitted by the end of the day today. I also want to confirm that results, including those in areas that used manual voter register, that's Makueni in Kibwezi West constituency, where there were 84 polling stations that voted manually, and 154 polling stations in Kakamega, especially Malava constituency, in Kakamega, have all transmitted the Form 34As, except 2 in Malava constituency. What happened here is that voting was done manual, but by the time of counting, the commission had ensured that the KIMS kits were ready and deployed for transmission. So transmission took place as envisaged in those 2 areas where largely voting was done manually. Collecting and announcement of results in a majority of constituencies is complete, and the returning officers have now started coming to physically deliver the results of Form 34As and 34Bs here at Bomas. And there are teams, as you can see, in the center of the auditorium working on it. And we hope that this exercise will largely take place mainly between today and tomorrow, and we hope to finalize in due course. As I said yesterday, just to repeat what's going on at the auditorium lobby, verification of transmitted image of results is happening from 34As against from 34Bs. That verification is what's happening there. And then there's also verification of 34Bs against 34As. And there's a team which is collecting from 34C. And we shall then be able to populate that on the screen and come up with also percentages of the candidates. And then we shall also be able to know which candidate has scored in terms of the counties to meet the minimum threshold of 25%. And finally, we shall do the declaration of presidential results. In conclusion, I wish to say that the law requires that the commission undertakes this exercise within 7 days from the presidential election. And as I said earlier, we shall endeavor to conclude this exercise at the earliest possible time. And once again, urge Kenyans for their patience as we undertake this important exercise. So thank you very much. I would like now to introduce the team leader for purposes of this exercise ongoing, Professor Gulie, to come forward and give some guidelines on what's happening on the floor. And then if you have any questions,
That was the IEBC chairperson, Wafula Chebukati, explaining how things have run. Now, IEBC has begun verification of physical Form 34As as returning officers trickle in at the Bomas of Kenya National Tallying Centre. Webuye West constituency returning officer Emmanuel Onyango was the first to report results, with more officers expected to stream into the centre today. The Commission has to ascertain the figures in the physical forms match that which is in the digital form transmitted to the public portal maintained by the Electoral Agency. The East Africa Community election observers say they are satisfied with the manner in which the polls were conducted. EAC observers chairperson Jakaya Kikwete said the processes followed so far reflected the will of the people. They, however, encountered challenges in accessing some polling stations due to demand for them to produce more identification documents. Preliminary findings by election observers from COMESA, AU, EGAD and EAC show some drivers allocated to them weren't familiar with their areas of deployment, thus causing delays in accessing polling centres during the elections. Madari constituency UDA candidate Billion Ojiwa is calling for a repeat of the voting exercise in the area after several ballot boxes were allegedly tampered with last night. Speaking exclusively to our sister brand The Star, Ojiwa cited several instances of irregularities including alleged ballot stuffing, ballot burning and inconsistencies in votes read and actual figures from polling stations. Constituency Returning Officer Lucy Wangari has asked candidates and their supporters to maintain calmness even as they address hiccups. The National Police Service has called on Kenyans to go back to work and build the nation even as tallying gets underway. Vote counting and tallying are still underway in most parts of the country and no significant incidents were observed. IEBC has also called on Kenyans to maintain peace and calm. And finally, as vote counting and tallying continues in various centres, a number of notable candidates have retained their parliamentary seats based on the announcements made by constituency returning officers. Some of them include Suba North MP Millie Odhiambo, Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro, Kapsaret's Oscar Sudi, Westlands Tim Wanyoni, Suna East MP Jeanette Mohammed, Garissa Township MP Aden Duale, and Embakasi East MP Babu Owino. Those who have been floored in Nairobi include Dagoretti South MP John Kiarie, Kibra MP Imran Okoth, Langata MP Nixon Career, and Kasarani MP Masi Gakuya. Indeed, and that's where our bulletin ends today. Thank you for joining us. We will have more updates at 4 o'clock. Please do stay tuned to Kiss TV Election News Updates. My name is Suzanne Kinasha.